What's up, guys? How's it going? It's John, and I want to talk about both the Ready Player One book and movie. Now, the movie's been out for over a month as of filming this video, and the book, I'll just throw it out there, it's one of my favorite books. It is a great story. I can relate to a lot of references from the 70s, 80s, 90s pop culture. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. I've read the book twice. I've listened to the audiobook about 3 times by Will Wheaton. Highly recommend that. And I've seen the movie twice. And I'll be honest, and there are going to be some spoilers in this video, so if you haven't read the book, you haven't seen the movie, and you don't want any spoilers, I encourage you guys to do that first, then come back and watch this video. But they're going to be spoilers, so warning there. As far as the movie is concerned, when I first saw it, I'll be honest with you, I was disappointed. Now, I knew going into it that the movie was not going to be 100% based on the book. And when I first heard Steven Spielberg was directing the movie, I was super excited. Ernest Cline, years ago, right about the time the book came out, he was a guest on my podcast, All Gen Gamers. Really down-to-earth guy, just a fan of pop culture, amazing book, amazing dude. And so it was cool to get to talk to him. And I'll put a link to that podcast below in case you guys want to listen to it. But what I love about the book is it's a story. I mean, it's kind of a pretty straightforward story. It's a love story. It's an action story. But all the references are great, and obviously the whole focus on the book is, the whole plot is these Easter eggs, right? By Holiday, who leaves these Easter eggs, these 3 keys, and it's, you know, kind of takes the concept of virtuality. And it's really cool. Now, the movie takes the premise of the book, but there's so many things in the movie that are left out that are in the book that are left out. So, for example, the first Easter egg. Now, in the book, this whole joust thing, leaves a whole bit about Wade Watts and how he is in school and how he finds the first key, and that's when he first meets Artemis's character, and that's all out of it. The whole joust scene was really cool. My favorite parts of the book, actually, that's out of it. That's probably due to copyright. And I kind of assumed there were going to be things left out because of references. And for example, there's a whole scene in the book where they reenact war games, and I figured that's obviously not going to be in it. So instead, what they do is for the first Easter egg. And in the book, there's the Easter egg, and then there's like a quest. You get a clue, and you have to get the quest. You get like a hint, and you get sort of 2 things for each gate, right? You get the key. They kind of left that whole second quest out of the movie. So in the movie, the first key is you have to do a race and basically get past King Kong. It's a really cool action-packed scene, high pace, and obviously fits for movies visually, and that's probably why they did that. And I still enjoyed that, but it was a lot different than the joust for sure. Now in the book, also the second key, they had left a whole part about him, Wade Watts, going to Holiday's hometown, playing that classic computer game. That obviously is not in the movie either. Instead, for the second key in the movie, they reference The Shining, the movie, which actually is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I'm really glad they included that. That was really cool. But the whole thing about the Captain Crunch whistle and all that was left out, and that's unfortunate. Some other key differences is when Parcel first meets Artemis in person. In the book, it's at the very end of the story, right? The very end of the book. Where in the movie, they meet in person much sooner. And they probably did that to develop the romance earlier, so to speak, to kind of relate to the crowd, I guess. But I kind of like the fact that they didn't introduce in the book until the very end. And I can't think of the character's name. The character's name is Holiday's right-hand person, right? His partner at Gregarious Games. You meet him in the book much earlier. He invites people to a party, and he's the one that kind of destroys all the IOIs in the book. He doesn't really appear much in the movie other than like some past scenes until the very end of the movie. And then also in the book, they killed off one of the Japanese guys, right? One of the brothers. In real life, they threw him off a building. They left that out in the movie. So there's a lot of things that were left out of the movie. Unfortunately, I didn't think it took away from the movie. But like I said before, when I first saw the movie, I didn't really care for the movie. I was kind of disappointed, but I saw it the second time, I grew to appreciate it more. In my opinion, the book is so much better than the movie. Honestly, the references are amazing. If you want to listen to the story, Will Wheaton does a great job with the audiobook. Highly recommend that version too, because he does a phenomenal job. And it takes about like 15 hours to read, so obviously you're going to get a lot more story than if you're going to watch a 2.5-hour movie. So the movie is very streamlined. IROC, the kind of Sorrento's right-hand man in the movie, he's obviously very funny. He has some very funny one-liners in the movie. But in the book, he does not really, I don't remember him being hilarious. And I remember him being like a schoolmate of Wade Watts in his real life. And in the book, they made Wade Watts appear more poor and desolate, and they talk about that a little bit in the movie, but not so much. Can't dive right into it. Obviously, the core of the story is there. Overall, I do recommend both the book and the movie, but the book by far is so much better. I'd give the book like a 9.5 to almost a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I'd give the movie more like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Not as good story. The Shining is by my favorite part. But overall, I do recommend both. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Please leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. That means the world to me. We'll see you soon, and have a great day, guys. Thanks.